And mount speaker rings and horn rings right here, there. We're actually set up a little bit more, but I think we are back on the door panel build. We are gonna actually get on them and finish them. No more breaks. Although I would like to drop other videos on the channel, man, but we gotta get these door panels done so we can take that next step and progress in the YouTube channel, man. But you know, I know you guys love the door panel build videos, so let's get to it. We actually got to go ahead and mount speaker rings and horn rings and tweeters rings as well too. But before I actually get to doing that, I got to make sure that the mold is 1000%. And like right here, I'm looking at it, it has a little bit of overhang right here. So I actually probably need to go ahead and slice it and sand it. If you look, the curve of this part of the mold, it looks a little bit jagged. This guy right here just looks like a nice swoop. It's nice and even and smooth out. Go ahead and make this corner of the door panel look just like the other one. Once we actually get those two things done, this door panel, I think the other one's pretty good to go. We can actually start getting our speaker rings mounted on the actual molds, and then we can continue to take the next step forward and getting these bad boys done. We basically just got the doors trimmed up. We're actually ready for rings. Door panel is getting 310s. One right here, there. This is the third ring right here. And as I'm laying down the ring so you can see where everything is pretty much going, I've already know right off the bat how far I can come out and what does what, because remember, there was a pocket here at one time, so that gives us pretty much depth on what we got to play with, and we have a speaker so we can go ahead and check depth as well too. But I'm going to tell you one of my biggest tricks that I know with building door panels. We'll use this trash can as a quick example. So right off the bat, we'll say this is your seat, and right here these are the controllers for you to get to move the seat forward, backward, recline it, and then your door panel is right here with it on. Automatically they give you a certain amount of gap, maybe as wide as your hand, so you can be able to go ahead and freely adjust the seat how you want it to. I know if this door panel was laying flat up against the actual door of the Chevy Tahoe, obviously it's going to be flat, but in some areas you're going to go ahead and have like window brackets, the actual window motor, stuff like that. But as long as it's flat, you know how much to position your speaker. You get what I'm trying to say? So with this piece of wood that these door panels are sitting on, that's actually acting as the flat part of the door. I'm actually gonna go ahead and draw out a few lines and cut a little bit more out the door panel so I can actually countersink my rings that much better. So the door panel looks a little bit more flush. It'll actually be for the best. Okay, so from where we actually started off to the point that we are at right now, things have changed. These rings actually were up a little bit higher, and the other rings that are in the far front, they were pushed up a little bit more towards the edge of the door, but I actually scooted them back a little bit and I actually countersunk these guys out. What I actually did was I cut pretty much the contour of the ring on both sides, so the ring can actually sit somewhat inside that lip or very on the edge of the lip, just to countersink it a little bit more. If we have to cut metal, which we probably will to get the speaker to fit, so be it. At least the speaker ring is not going to pop out bulky like crazy. The center speakers I'm not really worried about. Those things are going to be 1000%. The front ones, we did have to keep in mind that the passenger side would have been fine, but it's just that the driver one, the brake pedal, the emergency brake is actually on that edge, so I didn't want to go ahead and interfere with it. Although I probably could have just got away with just moving this one back a little bit, you know, backwards and leave that one the way it is. But when we actually put the doors next to each other, you would notice the difference, and they're actually laid out pretty good. I'm actually going to just get the driver door right now, and then we're going to go to the front, and then we're going to see what the door panel looks like on the actual door itself. So let's go ahead and throw the door on real quick. See what it's looking like. Everything seems to fit in there pretty good. Alright, that right there looks pretty bomb, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I actually like the countersink a little bit better, but let's actually go inside the truck and see how it looks. The only part that would give me a nightmare, but I really think with us countersinking this ring back a little bit, it is definitely gonna not get in the way. So let's check it out. So let's go ahead and close the door. Okay, perfect. You see it's away from everything, and so pretty much whenever I do my fleece, it's actually going to go downward a little bit, so that's actually perfect. Now let's look over here. Very perfect. So the speaker will actually sit up a little bit more, but I think it's away from everything, so that's actually really bomb. This one is so far from everything as well too. Look at that space. Look at the gap. It's nowhere near touching anything, guys. And that's perfect. And you see we have all this area right here we got to play with for the bigger tympano horn itself. And the tweeter is going to go right here, man. It's going to be really fire. Let me open up the door because it's really hot. Look at that. And then when you throw that door open, man, that thing's going to be talking. 310s on the Chevy Tahoe. But you see, I think we just got to cut some metal out right there. We are actually going to lift up we're going to actually, you know, bring out the horn, so it just basically sits on those brackets. But we'll actually keep the door pods on the truck itself to mount the horns, just so we know that we clear them pretty good and they have a nice angle. And then pretty much the 10s are good to go. And the tweeter, look, man, the tweeter's going to fit all day. I'm not really worried about it. We can cut some of that, so that'll fit. The middle one's going to fit. And other than that, guys, I think we're actually ready to rock and roll. One thing that I will say, guys, just because this video is probably like 12, 15, 20 minutes long, this is like pretty much a full day's work right here, just making sure and double checking a lot of things before we actually go forward and mounting the rings on there. Maybe sometimes, you know, behind the scenes I have to take the rings, redo them. So it actually takes a lot of work and thinking and creativity to make sure that the door panels are going to work. And you actually have to keep in mind so many other elements along the truck as well too, that's going to guarantee its fitness. I'm actually pretty happy with the door panels. So man, look at them things. Fire. Mousetrap approved.